On Christmas morning 1945, firefighters searched the ashes of a West Virginia home. 5 children had been inside when it burned. They found no trace of them, no bones, no teeth, nothing. And that's where the mystery begins. The Sodder family lived 2 miles north of Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jennie, both Italian immigrants, had 10 children. 9 were home on Christmas Eve. It was a happy night. The younger children asked to stay up late. The family celebrated together. Around 10, George and the 2 oldest boys went to bed. But at 12:30 in the morning, Jennie woke to the telephone ringing. A woman's voice asked for someone she didn't know. In the background, laughter. Glasses clinking, Jennie hung up and went back to sleep. At 1 o'clock, a loud bang jolted her awake. Something heavy rolled across the roof. She heard nothing more, sleep again. Half an hour later, she woke to smoke. George's office was on fire. Flames centered around the telephone line and fuse box. George, Jennie, and 4 children escaped, but 5 were upstairs. Morris, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 9, Jennie, 8, Betty, 5. George and Jennie screamed their names. No answer. The stairway was already engulfed. George ran outside for the ladder. It was gone. He tried both trucks. He'd driven them all day. Neither would start. The neighbor's phone was dead. The water barrel was frozen solid. George climbed the outside wall barefoot, broke a window. The heat drove him back. For 45 minutes, the family watched the house burn. The fire department didn't arrive until 8 in the morning, 6 hours after the first call. When firefighters searched the ashes, Fire Chief Morris told the Sodders something impossible. He found no bones. The official ruling, accidental fire, faulty wiring, death certificates issued 5 days later, but Jennie couldn't accept it. She burned animal bones herself. They never fully disintegrated. A crematorium employee told her human bones survive even at 2,000 degrees for 2 hours. The Sodder house burned far cooler, for less than an hour. Fire investigators found household appliances in the debris. Fragments of the tin roof, but 5 bodies, nothing. The Sodders never believed the official account, and the evidence gave them reason to doubt. 2 months before the fire, a life insurance salesman threatened George. His house would go up in smoke. His children would be destroyed. Punishment for George's criticism of Mussolini. That same salesman later sat on the coroner's jury. After the fire, a telephone repairman found the line hadn't burned through. Someone had climbed 14 feet up the pole and deliberately cut it. A bus driver reported seeing people throw balls of fire at the house. Months later, a small dark green incendiary device was found on the property. And there were sightings. A woman said she saw the children in a passing car. A truck stop worker said she served them breakfast 50 miles away the next morning. A hotel operator said she saw all 5 a week later, with Italian-speaking adults who kept close watch. None were verified, but each added to a growing sense that something deliberate had happened. In 1949, the family excavated the site. Bone fragments were found. The Smithsonian determined they belonged to one person, aged 16 to 22, never exposed to fire, likely from cemetery dirt used for the memorial. Someone may have planted them. Fire Chief Morris had also allegedly buried what he called a heart from the fire. The family had it exhumed. It was fresh beef liver. In 1950, the West Virginia legislature closed the investigation. The FBI declined jurisdiction. In 1952, George and Jennie erected a billboard along State Route 16. Photographs of the 5 missing children, a $10,000 reward. For nearly 4 decades, every driver on that highway saw those faces. Morris, Martha, Louis, Jennie, Betty. George died in 1969. Jennie in 1989. Neither ever learned what happened. The billboard came down after Jennie's death. 37 years of silent witness. Gone. 22 years after the fire, an envelope arrived at the Sodder home. No return address. Inside, a photograph of a man in his 30s, the age Louis Sodder would have been. On the back, Louis Sodder, I love brother Frankie, ill boys. The family believed it was him. They hired a detective to investigate. He disappeared. Never filed a report. The Sodders believed to their deaths that this was mafia retaliation, that the children were kidnapped and taken abroad. Most modern fire investigators still believe the children perished in the blaze, their remains lost. The 1967 photograph remains unexplained. No remains were ever conclusively identified. Sometimes the search for truth matters more than the truth itself. George and Jennie Sodder spent 44 years refusing to accept an answer they couldn't believe. Whether their instincts were right or grief led them astray, their story reminds us that some questions outlast those who ask them.